So your client wants a bob. Yes, this client. But no worries, we've got a way to achieve this look with no magic tricks and no cutting. So if you want to see how to do the braided barrel boho bob, make sure you stay tuned. Today's video is sponsored by our friends over at Eayon Hair. They sent over for us to try their loose, curly, bulk human hair for braiding. I absolutely love the curl pattern on this. This is perfect for the short bob styles, especially if you want more volume. This hair is healthy, thick, and very high quality in my opinion. Each bundle comes with 100 grams, which is enough for one head, but if you want a more fuller look or if you're working with longer lengths, I would suggest getting 2 bundles. We do have the natural black color today, but if you want a different color, you can bleach and dye this hair with no problem. The strands are complete from root to tip. I had absolutely no shedding while working with it. And in the last few years of working with boho styles, I have found that just prepping the hair without any product has worked out much better for me. I don't have to worry about my hands or the hair sticking together or falling apart. And for this style, you're going to need at least 1 pack of braiding hair. Whenever you're measuring your natural length, make sure you stretch your hair as far as you can, especially in the back. As you can see, the tips of her hair stop about armpit length. Most braided styles, we have to stop at least 1 inch past your natural length so that when you go to take your hair down, you don't accidentally cut your hair. So if you have naturally armpit length hair, you most likely be advised to have mid-back length braids. Same thing applies if you have mid-back length hair, you'll want to do waist length. If you have waist length hair, then you'll want to do probably tailbone or butt length. And here I'm just showing you where her natural hair stops. She has about another inch to go. I'm going to braid it all the way down. I want to braid it all the way down because when I go to barrel roll it up, I want braid in the barrel. I don't want loose hair in the barrel. Now you can do this a number of different ways, but barrels work the same way for all braids and locks. What you're going to do is find the position you want to stop at, fold the hair up, and start wrapping it around itself. You're going to keep wrapping until you have nothing left to wrap. When you get to the top of the wrap, you kind of want to start to overlap it a little bit, and there's a reason for that. But first I want to address how secure your wrap needs to be. You see how I wrapped it but didn't add anything to it at the bottom? You see how easily this kind of comes down on itself? So even if I were to wrap it and rubber band the top of it, it still is likely to fall down on itself. What I did instead was I rubber banded the tip. What that does is secure the tip in place so that my barrel doesn't fall on itself. Then I continued wrapping as usual, making sure to overlap the tips. To secure the tips, instead of rubber banding them, which can come loose very quickly, I went in with my pencil flat iron that went up above 450 degrees, and I just tapped the area at the top where we overlap the tips. You will not damage the natural hair by doing this. You are just simply sealing the outside of the braiding hair. And here I am just pulling and tugging on it to make sure it is secure and not going anywhere. And here's one more look at how I did that. I just rubber banded the tip where I wanted it to stop at. I held the tip in one hand and I began to wrap. It doesn't matter which direction you wrap in, just make sure it is as tight as possible. Also, the longer you make the braid, the heavier the barrel will be, so keep that in mind. I'm just gonna grab my pencil flat iron, make sure it's on a high setting, and we're just going to tap the area where we overlap the braiding hair at the tips. Once it's sealed off, you'll know when to stop. Now you're probably wondering, how do we take this down? Don't worry, I got you. It's a lot easier than you think it is. All we're gonna do is locate the rubber band and we're just gonna snip it off. Once you snip it off, you should be able to just pull everything downward. So even if you make a mistake, you can go back and try again, no problem. So you're probably noticing that I'm going through and I am capping off each braid as I go along instead of doing the entire install, dipping the hair and capping everything off at the end. I found it easier to do it this way. That way I can continue to see exactly where my length stopped. The whole time I was picturing being done with the whole head and there'd be a whole head of hair that I'd have to move out of the way. So it just made more sense to do it this way as I was going along. As I got more comfortable comfortable with my length, I started working about 4 to 5 braids at a time. And to avoid having the hair completely drenched and wet, I went in with my steamer just to soften up the braids as I went along. Steaming the braids doesn't just save time, but it's safer for the natural hair so that we can go a little bit higher up on the braids. Dipping or steaming the braids helps loosen them up and you won't have that stiff feeling. And here is the back 2 rows complete. For the boho hair, I only added in 1 piece at the root, and as I moved up higher on the head, I added in 1 piece at the root and then another piece about halfway down the shaft, just to add more volume to the look. If she doesn't want as much volume later on, she can always just cut the boho pieces off. I also didn't have to add as much braiding hair, so I just added in about 3 pieces and braided all the way down, so that's why I only had to use about 1 pack of braiding hair. The parting map we're using is the medium triangle map. We have a complete video on how to do that already on the page. I will link it in the cards above here. My final thoughts on the boho hair: this is probably the best quality I've worked with so far. I really love the curl pattern for this type of look. If you're going for volume, if you're going for fullness, this is the curl pattern you want to go with. Another pro tip I prefer is to not use any mousses or gels to define the curls. I just find that it weighs the hair down, it causes more buildup and can be sticky in some cases. So I just go in with a oil sheen spray, separate the curls out, and I get more of a bouncier, fluffier, fuller look. So yeah, that completes today's video, and here is the final look. Special thanks to our friends over at Eayon Hair for sponsoring today's video. Links to all of the products and tools used in today's video will be listed in the description box below. As always, if you learned something new, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and make sure you tell a friend. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button on your way out for more content just like this. I hope everyone had a beautiful holiday filled with blessings and lots of joy. I know I got everything I wanted, including some much needed rest. We have had a fabulous 2024 year, and I am so looking forward to 2025. And to all of my loyal followers, thank you so much for your continued love and support. You guys keep this channel going. Don't forget, if you have questions or something you want demoed on the channel, make sure you drop them in the comments below. I hope you guys have an amazing holiday and new year, and I will see you next year. Bye.